we are breaking down another one of your Dynasty teams.
As always.
On today's video. As always, that's right. If you want your Dynasty team to be considered, join our Discord with the link in the description. And then there is a Dynasty Team Grades text channel in our Discord.
Correct.
Make sure you post your team with the separate screenshots for us, and we will consider it. We can't promise anything, but we will obviously consider it. We are breaking down ArcherNori's team. I thought this was a super interesting team, and the context of this team, it's a 12-man, half PPR, super flex, tight end premium. And he says, any suggestions? And let's go ahead and put the team on the screen here now.
Okay.
Badake, I really, really thought this was one of the most difficult teams to give direction on. And I feel like we're in such a strange position with this team, right? We have win now players.
Correct. Agreed.
But I'm not so sure that there's enough depth to really win a championship.
Exactly.
We don't have a lot of draft capital to work with. And we don't have our 2023 first and second rounders, so it's probably not the right time to blow it up either. We're in this really strange place. So this is the direction that I decided to go with my advice. You know, we prepare separately. I don't know where you thought, but the way I'm approaching this with my advice is let's go for it this year. And then next year, completely rebuild, completely blow it up, because we don't even have our first this year. So we have a bunch of win now players. Why don't we go for it? Because if we're going to try and blow it up right now and sell all of our valuable players, the 23 first that we don't have is going to be super valuable. That's how I'm kind of going to approach it with some advice. I don't know where you stood on it, though.
There is I agree. There's two ways that you can do it. My problem with blowing it up the year after is that what happens if Aaron Rodgers retires? What happens if Tom Brady retires? What happens if CMC is not the same when he comes back from that injury for the past 2 years? You know, what happens if Devontae Adams takes a massive fall and doesn't finish inside the top 15 or even the top 10? That's going to take a massive hit. Same thing with Tyreek. This whole team is in question. Honestly, the only one I can really trust on this team is Keenan Allen. So that's why I'm thinking, why not blow it up now? Not for 2023, for 2024. You know, you've made a video where and once again, this is a long way to come, but you've made a video raving about the 2024 class, saying, hey, there's going to be talent. There's some good players there. I don't know, and I agree. I don't know if we can do it for 2023 unless there's other people that want to sell that 2023 class. But let's break it down. That's a thought process for me. But I see the other side where, like, hey, let's ride the wave. Let's try to win right now. It's just tough.
I get where you're coming from. I get where you're coming from. It's tough because if you start to make moves with this team and you start to blow it up, the person who has your first and second round pick is not giving it back. And the value of that pick goes up significantly. And whatever you spent to get that pick, it might end up being worthless. But let's talk about it then. So I'm obviously going to be coming from that perspective. You know, I understand. I just feel like some of these guys are still going to be, you know, just as valuable next year. But I think Tom Brady is the one where I look at and I'm like, ooh, you probably might not get any value here. Right. Let's talk about it. All right, quarterbacks first. I'm saying let's ride with Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady this year because, again, I think we blow it up next year. I don't personally, because I have Aaron Rodgers in some leagues and I don't have Tom Brady, but I know around the Dynasty sphere, you're not getting a whole lot of value for these guys at the moment. Aaron Rodgers might be the exception there, but I don't know that in a super flex league with Brady, I mean, just sign that deal to be a broadcaster.
Exactly.
I don't think anyone's giving up good value for Brady. And then, you know, if we sell Rodgers and then we have Brady on our team, it's like, where are we? So I think we hold pat here, but I don't know if you might have had a different direction there.
No, and I was trying to really come with one direction, but it's actually truly tough. I would definitely hold Aaron Rodgers and try to sell Brady for a first and early second in 2023, something. Because,
but let's be realistic. No one's giving a first.
I know, and that's the hard part. Or
not even in 2022.
However,
class.
You can trade Tom Brady, whether that's picks, whether that's players, players that have value. Maybe somebody that you believe in later on. However the case may be, that's how I view it. Sell him, get him off your team now, because I think we can both agree that after the season ends, Tom Brady is just like it's flat. The value there is flat because we don't know what's the next step.
Yeah,
and you have Jared Goff. Maybe you can get a lower end quarterback. Maybe you can get a Carson Wentz and a pick, or Carson Wentz and some other players. That's how I'm seeing it, because you do have Goff for this year. It's tough. It's a tough one.
The tough part about that is, if we're keeping Rodgers, selling Brady, it's like, where is our team going here?
Mm-hmm.
I think you're going to get a lot of different opinions here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, with Brady, I mean, I just think if you have Brady, you have Rodgers. These are both guys who are scoring, top 5 each week. Just that alone, I think, gives you a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about it. Running back, this might be all over the place because we have different opinions, but let's see. The way I'm seeing this is CMC and Pollard for this year are your starters, okay? Pollard last year finished as the running back 28. I've talked about him before as a win now trade target. I think he has an opportunity to finish within the top 24 this year. That is an RB2. And then you have a lot of guys who are handcuffs, who their role could expand. For example, Ronald Jones, Deontay Foreman, Mike Davis, Darrell Henderson, and Madison. These are all running backs. It just takes one injury for these guys to then boost your depth for this year. I do have an idea with these running backs, okay? And a lot of these won't work.
Mm-hmm.
Keep in mind, my direction here is go for it this year, blow it up next year. A lot of these trades won't work, but I know you guys are obsessed with Dynasty trade calculators out there. So I put it through trade calculators, and all these are viable options, okay? All right, so the package I'm looking at is Ronald Jones in a 2023 third. Again, this entire class in 2023, I'm saying if we go for it this year, let's throw this class out the window and really rebuild next year. So Rojo in a 23 third, I'm going to tell you players that are least likely to most likely to being accepted. Miles Sanders, Kareem Hunt is really possible. Damian Harris, another very possible player that you could get there. And Damian Pierce, depending on how the league values a guy like Damian Pierce.
Okay.
So you go from Ronald Jones to, let's say, a Kareem Hunt, because that is a very realistic possibility. Now you've got CMC, Tony Pollard, and Kareem Hunt, which I think is a deep enough running back room, considering your league is only a 2 RB starter league. I think that's enough to kind of go on a run. And then, like I said, at wide receiver, like you've got 3 guys who could finish in the top 12.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't said that before, but that's the way I'm thinking here. That would be my idea for the running back room for this year. Then next year I'm saying let's sell CMC. People are still giving multiple firsts up for him now. I think you can potentially compete with this team. You get into the playoffs, you never know what can happen. I mean, last year in one of our leagues, I was 1-7, Badake, to start the year. Finished 7-7, barely made the playoffs, and won it all. So anything can happen if you make it into the playoffs. That's how I'm approaching the running back room, but I imagine you're going to tell him to sell CMC at this point.
Yeah, that's the thought process. That's the only value I can see there. And if this is the problem, is that we don't know how CMC is going to bounce back after being injured for the past 2 years. People are already down on his value. You can still get a first for CMC currently. Once the season starts and CMC is losing workload to Deontay Foreman, is not getting as much work just in general, it doesn't look the same. He goes from a first to a second. Hey guys, CMC is done now. We all know we can put that to rest. And I think I would rather sell CMC now, maybe downgrade on a running back, or I don't know, whatever the case may be. Go for another older running back, or it's tough because I don't know who you can really go for. That's the problem. Like you can go for a Miles Sanders. You can if you want to sell CMC and get some draft capital. You can go for a Monty if somebody's willing to trade it and get some draft capital. All depends how that person values CMC. That's why I would rather sell now until before. Like it's dead, and I'm hoping for the CMC bounce back, but I can't guarantee you that. But what I can guarantee you is a first round pick, at least right now. I think everywhere in the fantasy community he should still be valued as a first round pick.
Yeah, the issue though, I feel if we're gonna move CMC and then get a guy like Sanders or a guy like Monty, is we're kind of doing a lateral move. We're not like
Not if we get a
we're
first round
taking
pick.
ourselves. Well, I get it, but we're taking ourselves out of contention of really competing without CMC because he's an X factor for your team. Like, look at the starting lineup though. I am viewing this as like a redraft lineup. If this was a redraft lineup for this year, this team would be the favorite to win. It really would. And I'm saying we don't like the 23 class is great, but you've already done half of you've got your first and second is gone. So I don't know. I get where you're coming from.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to present my perspective there because I mean, if I had this team in a Superflex redraft league, I'm thinking I'm winning it all. And why not? Like I feel like next year is the time to blow it up. And there will be, I think CMC will be worth a first. Let me ask you this: where do you have CMC ranked in your redraft rankings?
Oh,
right
for
now?
sure. He's my top 2 right now. That's because I believe.
There you go.
That's because I'm hoping and I believe that he is going to stay healthy. Like,
so if CMC goes out and finishes as the RB2,
oh, for sure,
he's going to be worth as much as he is right now next year.
100%. But I can't guarantee you that. You're taking a massive risk because that is one of your first round picks going into next year. Once that year, once 2023 is over, and CMC doesn't finish as a top 10, top 15 running back, if that does happen, you don't have a first round pick. Take one of those out, and then you know like what do you do now? You keep CMC or you sell him for pennies. So that's the tough part.
Yeah. I just think if we don't have our first and second, it's hard for me to really commit to a rebuild. Let's talk about the wide receivers. I think we're bringing two different perspectives, which is good. For me, again, I'm saying we ride with Adams, Hill, and Keenan because I think that is a strong enough wide receiver core alone to potentially bring us a championship. I would say Lazard you can keep as well because we've talked about Lazard potentially bringing back top 35 type finish value. You got that stack there with Aaron Rodgers. My advice here, and again, keep in mind, I'm saying let's go for it now, blow it up next year. There's two different packages I think we can work with. Number one is a 2023 third in MVS if you don't get the deal done for the running back.
Right.
How about we send a 23 third in MVS for Adam Thielen, someone who is underrated, who you have talked about as a win now option.
Correct.
You put this lineup as Aaron Rodgers, CMC, Tony Pollard, Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Keenan Allen, Hunter Henry, and Adam Thielen, and Tom Brady. I mean, that is it takes one move, and then I'm looking at your team and thinking that starting lineup is maybe the best starting lineup in the league.
Right.
The other idea that I had, if that didn't work out, how about we send a 23 fourth? Okay. I've talked about Devontae Parker. I talked about him potentially being the number one in New England this year. If anything, it gives you depth for bye weeks. Jarvis Landry, OBJ, these are other players that I think you could potentially go out and get for a 23 fourth. So all my ideas here, you won't be able to pull them off. But if you were able to pull off, let's say two of them, your team, like I said, I already told you what the starting lineup could look like, but you could also have potentially Jarvis Landry on the team as well for depth. You could potentially have a guy like Kareem Hunt on the bench for depth. And again, like, that team, I still think there will be opportunities to sell these guys. Thielen, he is getting up there, but next year, guys like Keenan, Tyreek, Devontae Adams, CMC, Rodgers, I think that's, while you have all your 24 picks, you can then fully invest into a rebuild. So that would be my advice for the wide receiver room, but I think you're probably going to say sell it all.
No, for the wide receiver room was definitely the toughest because this is the room that I see value in. This is the room that at least can win you some games if you were to stay in that, win now mode. But yes, I think this is where you can make all your money. Devontae Adams, depending on the picks, you can easily get 2 firsts. Tyreek Hill, you can get a first. Keenan Allen, you can still get a first. That is 4 first-round picks, depending on whether that's 2023 or 2024. And right now, you already have one 2024 pick. You will have 5 2024 first-round picks. That's not even including what you could have gotten for Aaron Rodgers, CMC. You could have up to 7 first-round picks in the 2024 class. Once again, it is really, really far. Who are you going to start this year? What is it going to look like? It's
I mean,
tough.
and if you're investing in the 24 class, you are forfeiting 2 years if you're doing that move right now.
I agree. It's just, and I was agreeing with you when you were saying 2023. No, I mean, you already sold your picks. It's going to be hard to get them back. It's going to be hard to get anything back from 2023, knowing how much people value that class. But what people aren't valuing right now is those 2024 first round picks. And like you said in that other video, that 2024 class, don't sleep on it. There's some good talent there. And I think, once again, this is where you can make all your money here. Davante Adams, Tyreek, Keenan Allen. You can keep and hope that they still come into 2023 with the same value, or you can sell now knowing exactly what you have. Because the question mark is Davante Adams going to be the same without Aaron Rodgers? Is Tyreek Hill going to be the same without Patrick Mahomes? Keenan Allen, I think, probably is the safest guaranteed first-round pick. I think Davante Adams will be guaranteed first-round pick, and Tyreek Hill will be first-round picks. But right now, the value that you can get for them is up to 2 first-round picks, right? So it really depends on next year. So I'm selling now. I'm selling high now so you can get those values. But once again, it's tough because, you are forfeiting 2 years. You're not going to be competing. Yeah. Who the hell are you going to have on your team? It could be picks for a low-end wide receiver. I don't know. Somebody you believe in. Go for rookies or go for somebody else.
It's so hard. If you tank this year, it's going to be so hard for you to watch whoever has your 23 pick go out and grab C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, Bijan Robinson. Mm-hmm. That will kill me. Mm-hmm. But if I compete and I make it to the championship, feels okay. Like, I lost okay. 111. Like, that doesn't sting as much. Right. That's where I am. And I would say let's talk about tight end position. I mean, I don't think there's really any moves to make here.
No.
With the draft capital that you have, you're very limited. Honestly, you just need to pray that Gronk comes back.
That's value right there.
By the way, imagine if Gronk does come back. Mm-hmm. Then we could be, the moves I've suggested, we could be talking about Aaron Rodgers, CMC, Pollard, Adams, Hill, Keenan, Gronk, Adam Thielen, Brady, and potentially Kareem Hunt on the bench to rotate in and out, along with, any of these running backs that could potentially develop. But did you have any moves at the tight end position? I don't think there's anyone worth enough value to really move.
No, there's no moves at the tight end position. I figured you hold Hunter Henry. I like Hunter Henry in the long run. I believe he'll see out his contract unless they just trade for a younger, better tight end than Hunter Henry. But I think he's a solid top 10 tight end moving forward.
So let's go to team grades. I gave a C+. And, I don't want to be harsh or anything. Mm-hmm. I'm just being honest where I feel like the status of this team is currently right now. It's a C+ team. And that's because we don't have a clear direction, in my opinion. There's not a clear direction of where we're going. And no matter what happens this year, I think you have to go all in on the rebuild next year. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. So no matter what you do this year, I think next year you absolutely have to blow it up. Whether you take my advice, whether you take Badake's advice, next year, that is the point, no matter what, where you absolutely blow it up and get as much value and build towards the next class. But please do not trade away, no matter what you do. If you commit to win now, like I've suggested with some of those small moves, do not send any of your 24 picks and beyond, okay? Don't send any of your 24 class, any of your 25 class, because, like I said, after this year, no doubt you need to hit the reset button.
Agreed.
And I still think that after this year, you can get a lot of value for these guys. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, I think he still has quite a few years left in him. You can send him for a first next year, in my opinion, to a win now team. CMC, I feel the same way. I feel the same way with these wide receivers. So, I think there's a window, but I don't think it's the wrong move if you blow it up. I just think I would be kicking myself if I blew it up and just saw all my valuable picks not even in my hands.
Yeah, I feel you. And obviously for me, if you were to blow it up, you're committing to rebuilding for 2024, not 2020. Unless you can swindle all these guys for 2023 picks, go for it. Try to get your first back. Try to do whatever you can. At the moment, I'm looking at this team. You can get at least 6 first round. Aaron Rodgers 1, CMC 1, Davante Adams 2, which adds up to 4. Tyreek potentially another 2, which adds up to 6. Keenan Allen 7, Tom Brady. We'll see. I mean, if you can swindle first, you can. That is 6.
No, you can't.
That is 6. What you have, or you already have 1. So that's 7 first-round picks that you would have in 2024. That's more than half the class. Some good talented people coming in, or you can just stay like Zach said. I don't think there's a wrong answer in my opinion. Just whatever feels natural, whatever comes in the season. Just know that after this season, if these guys aren't the same, if Tom Brady retires, if Aaron Rodgers says, "Why'd you trade Devontae Adams?" Then maybe he retires. Then you really got no value. You're losing 3-4 first-round picks there because everything is going to start trickling. So.
But
maybe
this team is good enough to win a championship, and broke money don't make none. So
money don't make none.
Sometimes you have to commit to the win and then hit the rebuild. But the last thing I was gonna say is if you go out, think about how this is the last thing I'll say. Think about how devastating this would be if you hit the reset button right now and you don't get your 23 picks back. You are literally competing against yourself because your team is going to be absolute dog. Fill in the explicit. Your team is going to be terrible. And then you're going to see your pick because you're not winning any games because you're not a good team. You're going to have other people's picks and you're competing against yourself. So you're going to want to win. I don't want to be in that place, but I get it. I get it.
It's tough.
Anyway, let us know what you guys think. I hope this was helpful. Archer, I really hope this was helpful. We'll find out. Comment, let us know. But this was a fun one.
Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos,
watch
now,
it.
You can also subscribe
right now
if you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/fantasylandfam.